to rereading the Declaration of Independence, read Hamilton's number 70, because there...
See, I had to go back again. Let me start over so y'all can hear this man.
Well, Professor, my great friend, thanks for filling in and doing a great job. Three things. Number one, in spite of all this nonsense from the left, we are going to win. We're in the process of taking this country back. No one in the audience should be despairing. No one should be discouraged. We ought to be really encouraged by what happened yesterday. And in spite of all of the injustice, which of course, friends and audience of this show, of our friend Steve know, we are going to prevail. Number two, to the point of the clips and of course, your preview of the fact that I am an early American historian and love the Constitution, that Supreme Court ruling yesterday on immunity is vital. And it's vital for a lot of reasons, but I would go to Federalist number 70 if people in the audience are looking for something to read over Independence Day weekend, in addition to rereading the Declaration of Independence. Read Hamilton's number 70, because there, along with some other essays, he talks about the importance of a vigorous executive. You know, former congressman, the importance of Congress doing its job, but we also know the importance of the executive being able to do his job. And can you imagine, Dave Bratt, any president, put politics off to the side, any president having to second guess, triple guess every decision they're making in their official capacity? You couldn't have the republic that you just described. But number three, let me speak about the radical left. You and I have both been parts of faculties and faculty senates and understand that the left has taken over our institutions. The reason that they are apoplectic right now, the reason that so many anchors on MSNBC, for example, are losing their minds daily, is because our side is winning. And so I come full circle in this response and just want to encourage you with some substance that we are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
Okay, so that is the president of the Heritage Foundation. I want to keep reminding you all of who he is. He, after what happened yesterday, now this is hi Cherie. He happens to be, this is actually an older video that came out like 2 weeks ago. But I want to remind you all of who he is and what he's about. Okay, and so we had the incident that happened yesterday with Donald Trump being shot at, because I don't think he got shot. I think it was like shrapnel or something like that. They hit his ear and made him bleed. But and there's a lot of things going on about how he is how it's fake, and a lot of conspiracy theories out there. The people that believe that he was shot. And there are others that believe that he wasn't. This was a setup to get sympathy from the American people, as well as, excuse me, make it seem as though, you know, the left, the liberals are, I guess, trying to take him out. But whatever. I don't believe it personally. I mean, I wait for more to come out, but I have my theories on it as well. At the beginning, I thought maybe he was shot, but now I'm looking at everything and I'm maybe thinking differently. So anyway, we're going to talk about Project 2025. We're not going to stop talking about Project 2025. This is trying to get us to not talk about Project 2025 and talk about him and his incident that he had. But I'm going to keep talking about Project 2025 up until the election day, because I said that's what I was going to do, and that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to go over these 920 pages. Nothing's going to stop me from talking about it. So we're about to get started. Let me drop this link for W1. And I say this to say, and don't stop talking about it. Don't let this deter you from talking about it. We saw what happened. Donald Trump incites violence. That is it. That is period. Okay. That's what he's been doing on his campaign trail. Don't fall for the okie doke. I mean, he's been inciting violence, and he just incites it, and that's what he does. And now it flipped on him and turned on him. Possibly, I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. So let me get over here to this project 2025. If you have any questions or anything you want to ask me, go right ahead. We're going to start on number 2. He made a war cry when they tried to get him to safety. Exactly. And he just recently said, he just put out something on Truth Social that I just saw before I came up, that he was going to go to, I believe, Milwaukee before he was supposed to leave in 2 days, but now he feels the urge to get out there and go today. Okay, so if you were shot at, or you've been shot at, sir, and you've supposedly been shot, and you have the need as a 77-year-old man, they're not going to stop me. I'm going. See, in my opinion, to be honest with you, I think that he's doing all this to make it seem like he's so strong and powerful, and, you know, he can handle it, and he's a strong man. Okay. I'm here to talk about Project 2025. I saw that they are losing their minds on that app. Yeah, they are losing their mind on that, even on Twitter. But a lot of people on Twitter don't believe. A lot of people think it's fake. Just saying. So section 1, we did that one. W1 is supposed to join. We'll see. He said he was ready. And excuse my voice. My voice is hoarse because I've been talking loud and country. This thing is so long. So we went through that. Okay, we did this, we did that. All right. We're getting there, we're getting there. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lord. I was going to have W1 come up here and speak. So like I said, it's 920 pages. So remember that as I scroll through this mess. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Let me text W1. See where he is. Ciao. I dropped the link, sir. Okay. Besides on that, insurance transition. We did that. Okay. So some of this is some of this stuff is, oh God. Okay, here he comes. Let me drop the link again. Yeah, I don't know how some of you may feel that are watching right now about what happened yesterday. But yeah, this is where we are. And you know, there's been presidents that have been, I will say this, one of my cousins who's in the political realm said, they sit there and say, this is not America, when clearly it is. You know, you had assassination attempts on several presidents, and they achieved that goal. And you had assassination, you know, attempts on Martin Luther King. Hey, good evening, Mel. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. So, and those were all political. Those were political people as well. And to sit here and say this is not who we are as a country, and My cousin was like, no, this is who we are as a country. This is what we do. We shoot at people. We have guns in this country, and you have crazy people that you allow to have guns and to go after people. So no, this is what we are. This is a country that does this type of thing. So, okay, Mel MC is here since W. Hey, Mel, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing good.
You doing good? Good.
Yeah, I was going to just come up here for a little bit tonight because actually I had some other things going on. But I was going to say, yeah, you know what? I personally can't see myself feeling much sympathy for, basically this man looking like he got attacked by a mosquito, because simple for me is not going to stop me from going to vote for Biden. One thing I think that that these kind of people that supporting him doing is they're trying to make him into a war hero. And we can't forget the fact that he has said horrific things about people who, served this country and has passed away. I think he even said something about the late John McCain. John McCain,
right.
There we go. So he has said horrific things about people who actually was in battle, who actually was serving for the country and giving up their lives. You staying on the stage to sort of get a photo op and using that. Now, mind you, people who support you died. The people who got, the ricochet or whatever it was, they end up losing their lives out there, following in this person, which is tragedy. It's a tragedy that any person, in this country can get in their mind and they want to support somebody without any morals at all. And then they lost their lives. And I think the person who was the pow person, I believe that his record showed that he was a Republican.
Right. He was a registered Republican as well, but they say he also donated in 2021. He donated to some Democratic political party and like $15, whatever. But I think recently he was a registered Republican.
Right. So all that means to me is that when it was between Trump and Hillary, it sounded like that guy voted for. Oh, well, I'm not sure if he was old enough to vote for Hillary, but at one point he was a supporter of Trump.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if he's a Republican,
right,
he has to be.
So
I think he was bullied, but I also read that he was bullied, and of course, anybody that goes out shooting into crowds like that, something is, something has eaten you up inside, and you feel like the system is not working for you.
Well, because
it hasn't worked for you.
And all I can say is that for me, if his profile is saying Republican and all that kind of stuff, then that means to me that a lot of the people who was listening to this man talking about building a wall and locking up Hillary Clinton and all these promises they were making, leaving the White House with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people passing away because of the virus, there are a lot of people out there who remember his promises from the first time and felt betrayed. And unfortunately, this guy, this young person, he definitely was out, unbalanced and out of his mind. But it's just I don't want to say. Listen, I don't want to go too detailed because it wouldn't sound very sensitive. But it's just this mess is totally in his his responsibility. I say totally his responsibility because it's that person that was doing the pow was at one point affiliated with his belief system.
Right.
So they can't really put this to nobody's. They can't fit this nowhere else but in that party, unfortunately.
I mean, and you have people blaming. What irritates me is the fact that they're trying to blame Joe Biden for the words that he used. And, it's Joe Biden's fault because he used the word target. We should bullseye. Donald Trump is on our bullseye. Or in our bullseye or whatever. We should just go after him because you should continue to go after him because he is the one that's going to implement Project 2025 when he gets into office. If he gets into office, let me say that. Let me also say that Donald Trump, when Joe Biden was talking about bullseye, he's meaning this man is a felon. 34 felons. This man is been convicted of sexual assault. You have the Epstein files that's coming out. And, I wasn't going to get into it, but in reality, if you think about it, all of a sudden you have someone that wants to, a sniper that wants to take you out when all this nastiness is coming out about you, especially the Epstein files, you know, then all of a sudden somebody's trying to nick you in your ear, please. So in my opinion, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think that it was shrapnel that came off the monitor because the guy was shooting at, you know, I don't even know. Can I say shooting on this mess?
Oh, pow pow.
Oh, he was pow-powing at him, and he hit the monitor that I guess he was reading off of, and it ricocheted, and the pieces of the shrapnel hit him in his ear. You know, because if you think about it, had that been a bullet that grazed him in his ear, you don't think that would have taken his ear off?
Oh yeah, of course.
So that doesn't make sense.
He would have to be the most luckiest person in the world.
Right.
Now that was definitely an explosion or some kind of just, you know, something scraped him up.
That would have. I think it would have taken part of his ear off. It wouldn't, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think that, you know what, for me, my point is that those people that make him a hero for you know, dodging and somebody losing their life, people disturbed, and also they would have loved if it was a liberal, a totally full-blooded, from head to toe liberal out there going deranged. They would have loved that. So it's just unfortunate for them that this person was very close, they believe, obviously, about, you know, carrying, people not really getting checked that well when they get their hands on something. So all that stuff that they out there promoting has got them caught up this time. And also about the idea of being a target, that's what Trump does, is he points out targets for them. He be dog whistling to everybody. I don't give you, mostly black women, if people want to really focus. Anybody prosecuting him, he be getting those people to, like Legion, to go after these women. You know, some people have to go into hiding because these people are deranged. So all he does is make people, you know, sit in ducks.
Right. And even now, you know, he wants to go against Kamala. So what they're doing now is they're attacking her in the back end, basically saying that she's a DEI hire. This is how racial is getting. You know, she's a DEI hire. She doesn't know what she's talking about. He's making racial epithets at her. You know, but still, like I told my husband, I said, what he will do is continue to have the same attitude, you know, with the rhetoric or whatever. I don't think he's going to stop that. He's going to be even more pushing the rhetoric of the left. And he can get it on his Truth Social and make a statement saying we need to unite as one. No, well, I'm gonna unite with Joe, but I'm not uniting with you because I know I can't trust you and your agenda. You know, I think, honestly, I don't think it's real. Yesterday, I thought it was real. Today, after looking at a lot of things and, you know, reading some stuff, I don't. I think it was. I just don't think it's real. I'm not apologizing for my thoughts.
You know, I was going to say too, when you said about the that hire and how she was using that terminology. This is the part that kind of is something I need these sort of you know, people in our community, people of African American descent or of color or whatever, or people who are under attack. I need them to tell me when they hear this kind of questioning, don't they understand that they are, if they've gotten everything they need in life, that their sons, their daughters, their cousins, their nephews, or whatever, people are trying to get something in the next couple of years. It's going to be very hard if they are part of the group that's under attack. Because the simple fact is, if you can't be the vice president of this country without that kind of nasty terminology, then everything that these people who are, you know, look like us out there, oh, I'm supporting Trump. But the simple fact is, what if that turns on you? Everything that you think you're going to get from him. I mean, Omarosa, every person who was African American, they have gotten backstabbed by this person every single time. So why that just boggles my mind. It boggles my mind. You know, that's what I was saying before. They definitely would use you in rallies, and you go out there and support his clothing, his sneakers, his hats, and everything. And the people think that you're a part of it. So it was a couple of people in our community was behind him, dodging the pow. They had the clothes on, didn't they? They all had that red and those shirts and those hats on. I was watching the picture, but the African American people, they had all like garbage on them. That was a way to represent that I'm a part of your team. I was saying this in private because most of, you know, if you, let's say Miss Sunny goes down there, just, you know, her glasses, her shirt and everything, just go boom. Without all that stuff on, she probably get harassed.
Right. I mean, ma'am, This is why I said we gotta keep on fighting a good fight, and we definitely have to keep on talking about Project 2025. Look, he can get pow, whatever. I'm gonna keep talking about Project 2025 because I know that this is their agenda. You're not gonna stop me from talking about it. Like I said, I will be talking about it till November 5th on election day. I'll vote like I always do, and I will have to come back and I'll get back on my computer and say I voted, and now we have to continue to. I'll be live. I'll probably be live all day. I'll go vote. I'll film myself voting. Go in there, do my thing, come back out, get back on, come home, get back on, and talk about Project 2025. This is serious.
It is very serious.
It is very serious, and it is very serious for Black people.
Absolutely.
I don't understand why Black people feel like it's not serious for them.
I don't know.
It is. When most of Black American people that's living in this country is living paycheck to paycheck.
Absolutely.
Because if you're complaining about eggs and you complain about food, that means you are living paycheck to paycheck.
But I was going to say, Jim and Sonny, even if you're not living paycheck to paycheck, because some people, I've heard people, a couple of my friends, they said, well, I'm good. I got a couple $100,000. But I was telling them, listen, we are not, if you need a loan, okay, if you got to go to the bank or somewhere to get a loan, set up another business or whatever, that process could be, how many times we watched when I grew up Raising the Sun, the family couldn't even get the loan at the conventional banks to get the home they wanted or go start up your own business. If the rules change on you, then why would our interest rates go up on certain things? Or there's certain things that can happen. Even gentrification it represents how people go into these communities and make it extremely hard. And you own your home, and now all of a sudden your taxes have gone up 39,000 or whatever it is. Like, there's all these different tricks that they will use of people who are successful. And now you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Why is all this happening to me? I can't even go out and get an extra job because now I'm one of those kind of hires that the people are talking about. I can't even get my kids to go into the school that will pay them $1 million a year because now they're being rejected because it's only going to be for one type of people. So all the doors that you think are opening from this man are going to close for you within a couple of years.
Right.
And stay closed.
I mean, you'll be fighting for your life again.
And
I spoke to my aunt last night. And she was like, we are repeating history. We are repeating history.
And you know what I was going to say, the lead to another thing I'm really going to drop down. The biggest thing too, people are not talking about the medical care for immigrants, African-American people of color, trans, all that is a nightmare, even when you have good insurance. So what do you think is going to, how many of us, not to be too bleak, this is the part I think about because I have older people in my family, I tell you about my grandma, that how many of us will perish because of malpractice, because of not getting into an appointment, because that's happening too. That's not really, I think in one of those documents, they did talk about the healthcare and the one that you was reading. But that one, I got my eyes on that because the quickest way to take out a community is to mess up their healthcare. We already have that issue when it comes to the African-American woman, when it comes to birthing the baby. But what about the breast cancer treatments? What about all other stuff that we get? The simple fact is we already don't have the studies behind us to support our well-being because most of it was geared towards Caucasian people. All that stuff, all the studies and the medication, how it works in the body is not geared towards our body. Our body is different than other people. We saw that when the pandemic happened, that virus was different in our bodies than it was with theirs. But when they found out that it was not that problematic for them, the mask got to come off. I don't want to make you trouble because they didn't care like when we first got to this country. If they breathe on somebody can get sick. That's what happened with the Native American people. They just got wiped out because of people coming from wherever and just spreading the problem. Now, we had another situation happen here. I was angry here because I saw my neighbors who we all were scared together. But when that report came out, which I thought they were stupid to do, report came out from Italy, said, if you got more melanin or whatever it is, I remember that report. 2 weeks later, bam, a lot of people who I was friends with, they had the mask off. They didn't care about the coughing or nothing because they knew that they were not in jeopardy. So now, under this, the person who was responsible for the virus, coming in this country, we're gonna get him back again, and he's gonna mess up the healthcare. And even if you have, hundreds of $1,000s as an income, even with your good insurance, you're gonna get issues. There's celebrities like Oprah Winfrey level was saying that I still get bad medical care. My God. So
isn't it that Black women have the highest rate of death giving birth?
Absolutely, they do. Jackie, and that was one thing that I agree with Miss Jackie from actually from your, I always tease you. So I said, don't you know Dr. Jackie? That Dr. Jackie talks about, but wait a minute, wasn't that what she was talking about? Wasn't it with the vice president that she got in trouble with because she kind of was Karen. She was like a chocolate Karen in the moment. She was like, "Oh well, don't call my office if you really if you're trying to escape work." I'm like, "Girl, stop that."
Right.
She apologized. She cried for, it, and I believe that she's sorry about it. I do.
Right.
But she definitely was like, "Oh, the black women, they want to get out the job." Like, what about the white woman? You know, that's not good as a sister. You shouldn't say that. It's really dangerous with black women, when it comes to birthing babies. You know.
Mm-hmm. And I hear that Texas has changed. They were having issues before with that law that they passed, but now they've redone it or something like that. So if you're having health issues, apparently they are allowing you to, abort the baby.
Well, you know what now? Now that your husband is here, I'm gonna drop down. I want to keep you company. So you know what?
I'm glad you did.
Yes, I like the way I come yes, I like the way because you have perfect combination. Yeah, I'm gonna drop down now. But you know what? Have a good night, Miss Sunny and Mr. W1.
Hey,
thank you, Mel. You gonna stay in the chat?
Yeah, I'll be in the chat. I'm doing some other things, but it's good that you're up here talking about this.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Mel.
All right, have a good night.
Okay, you too. Well, hello, W1. How are you?
Good evening.
Hello.
What's up?
Just waiting for you to come on in, honey. That's all we were doing. Let me put this on the screen because we know that you can only be on here for like an hour. I mean, I thought the president was supposed to speak, but I guess he just decided not to.
Yeah, I didn't receive any word. It'd be nice if he would, rather than just 5 minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes. I don't know.
I think he was supposed to speak from his office, but he didn't. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go through this real promise number 3 with the Project 2025. And remember, it's 920 pages, guys, and we're on promise number 3 because promise number 1 and 2 was kind of long. We go talk about, can you kind of go back over what number 1, number 2 was? It was about education. Hey, Norris. Hey, Marcella. It was about education and it was about healthcare, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Old tenants, old Republican standbys.
Right.
So education, reducing the Department of Education to put education back in the hands of parents, to have them give them more of a bigger say in education. A nice way of saying less government involvement. Department of Education, there's no need for special assistance. Really old school. This goes back to the 80s. And of course, healthcare, less government involvement, slowly getting rid of Medicare, Medicaid, putting it back into the hands of corporations like Aetna and United Healthcare, Optum. Real old school stuff. Republicans and Democrats been battling with that for many, many years. So no surprise there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Old
school stuff.
Old school stuff that they implemented. They implemented some of those things back in the 80s when Reagan was president. And also, like we said before, and they say in this document that they supported Reagan and their agenda was to change or give Reagan some of their agenda and their promises back in the 80s. And they did. And although Donald Trump says that he doesn't know anyone from Project 2025, his vice president at the time, Mike Pence, has a video out. And when I find the video, I'll play it. Said that they were part of the Heritage Foundation. Now, the Heritage Foundation and the president of the Heritage Foundation, they are a big part of this. They are the ones who are implementing this and giving it to Trump to insert this in his agenda when he becomes president. So promise number 3, defend our nation's sovereignty, borders, and bounty against global threats. The United States belongs to we the people. All government authority derives from the consent of the people, and our nation's success derives from the character of its people. The American people's rights to rule ourselves is the obverse of our duty. We cannot outsource to others our obligation to ensure the conditions that allow our families, local communities, churches, and synagogues, and neighborhoods to thrive. The buck stops with each of us, so each of us must have the freedom to pursue the good for ourselves and those entrusted to our care. To most Americans, this is common sense. But in Washington, D.C., and other centers of the leftist power, like the media and the academy, the statement of basic civics is branded hate speech. Progressive elites speak in lofty terms of openness, progress, expertise, cooperation, and globalization. But too often, these terms are just rhetorical Trojan horses, concealing their true intentions, stripping we, the people, of our constitutional authority over our country's future. America's corporate and political elites do not believe in the ideals to which our nation is dedicated: self-governance, the rule of law, and ordered liberty. They certainly do not trust the American people, and they disdain the Constitution's restrictions on their ambitions. Instead, they believe in a kind of 21st century Wilsoning. Is that how you say it? Wilsoning order, in which the enlightened, highly educated, marginal elite runs things rather than the humble, patriotic working families who make up the majority of what the elites contemptuously call flyover country. What does that stand for, WN?
A lot of back talk. It's just basically point number, in my notes, I got point number 19. So Project 2025, along with all the Republicans, what they're trying to do is restrict asylum seekers. So when they're saying tightening the borders, so on and so forth, Project 2025 proposes stricter policies for asylum seekers. So this means increased detention. They're going to expedite deportation and the whole deportation process. But it really aims to limit the ability of individuals who seek refuge in the United States. It's just plain, simple restriction on individuals coming into the U.S. And that's been kind of the major cornerstones of not only Project 2025, Heritage Foundation, the Lincoln Institute, AEI, but we've seen that across the seas in Europe and in France, what we saw in Italy. This is plain just reduction in the amount of folks coming into the United States.
So I'm gonna skip some of this because it's just some stuff. But at the bottom here it says progressive policymakers and pundits in America either fail to understand this premise or intentionally reject it. They enthusiastically support supranational organizations like the United Nations and European Union, which are run and staffed almost entirely by people who share their values and are mostly insulated from the influence of national elections. That's why they are eager for America to sign international treaties on everything from pharmaceutical patents to climate change to the rights of the child, and why those treaties invariably endorse policies that could never pass through the U.S. Congress, like the progressive Woodrow Wilson a century ago. The woke left today seeks a world bound by global treaties they write, in which they exercise dictatorial powers over all nations without being subject to democratic accountability. It says that's why today's progressive left so cavalierly supports open borders despite the lawless humanitarian crisis their policies created along America's southern border. They seek to purge the very concept of the nation state from the American ethos, no matter how much crime increases or resources drop for schools and hospitals or wages decrease for the working class. Open borders activism is a classic example of what the German theologian Dietrich Bonhoeffer, is that how you say his name?
I don't know, but when they
cheap grace.
When they start quoting Germans, I get worried.
Publicly promoting one's own virtue without risking any personal inconvenience. Indeed, the only direct impact of open borders on pro-open borders elites is that the constant flow of illegal immigration suppresses the wages of their housekeepers, landscapers, and bus boys. Hey, Stacy. Y'all get that? What's in there right there? The only direct impact of open borders on pro-open borders elites is that the constant flow of illegal immigration suppresses the wages of their housekeepers, landscapers, and bus boys.
That is racist. So basically, they're saying those who come over the border, and I don't know what border they're talking about, south or north, those are the only type of jobs that they go for. That's terrible.
Now, are those black jobs?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
I do want to comment though. What part of what you were reading, what they're alluding to is the military policies.
Mhm.
So the plan proposes using the military for domestic law enforcement. So you'll see your Army, Navy, whatever. They'll be patrolling the border. So they'll be taking up deportation for undocumented immigrants. This would represent like a big shift in the role of the military within the United States, because usually, it's state border patrol, so on and so forth. Trump talked about this 4 years ago, wanting to invest more heavily in the military, taking the role of doing that. That opens up a can of worms when you have now the military on posts like that. So that's one of the Project 2025 monikers, military policies.
Yeah. The same goes. At its very heart, environmental extremism is decidedly anti-human. Stewardship's and conversations are supplemented by population control and economic regression. Environmental ideologists, ideologues would ban the fuels that run almost all the world's cars, planes, factories, farms, and electricity grids, abandoning confidence in human resilience and creativity and responding to the challenges of the future would raise impediments to the most meaningful human activities. They would stand human affairs on their head, regarding human activity itself as fundamentally a threat to be sacrificed to the God of nature. The same goals are the heart of the elite support for economic globalization. For 30 years, America's political, economic, and cultural leaders embraced and enriched communist China and its genocidal Communist Party while hollowing out America's industrial base. Sound like you wanted to say something.
Yeah, so that's more fluff. They're talking about corporate regulations. So
Right.
Project 2025 seeks to relax corporate regulations. Corporate regulations and the Republican Party go hand in hand sometimes. So this is talking about including these regulations against worker safety rules, environmental protections, all that stuff. They want to strip away. What in doing so, what this would likely lead to is profits for businesses, really at the expense of worker rights and environmental health. If you own a business, you may want to look into this and go, maybe this is good for me, maybe not. But this is definitely a corporate regulations part of Project 2025. Of course, they want to switch everything to have the corporations, give the corporations more power.
Okay, excuse me. It says the same goals are the heart of the elite support of economic globalization. Okay, whatever. So when you go through this section right here, what I find very interesting is, they're talking about China and how they're doing all the trade with China and everything. But Donald Trump traded with China. He made a lot of money with China. And when he was president, his daughter got all these, what was it? Patents through China.
Correct.
So this is interesting within itself, right?
Correct. She made a lot of money,
Made a lot of money.
which is nothing wrong with that. But the mere fact that she had access that the average person would not obtain is what made it very interesting. And the same for his son-in-law too.
Right. So it says, let's go here. No. I'm going to skip this part because we'll be here all day. Even before the rise of big tech, Wall Street ignored China's serial theft of American intellectual property. Yeah. It outright cheered the elimination of American manufacturing jobs. Learn to code, they would gloat. These were just the price of progress. Engagement was at every step Beijing's project, not America's. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, dictated terms only to break them whenever it suited them. They stole our technologies, spied on our people, and threatened our allies, all with trillions of dollars of wealth and military power financed by their access to our market. My thing here is, hi, Michelle, Stacy, thank you for coming. Let me say this really quick, is they're trying to make it seem like this is all the left doing all this work with China, when in fact it's the whole government. It's the right and it's the left. They both work with China. Donald Trump came in and said, I'm gonna put these tariffs on China. And like I told y'all last week, that him putting a 10% tax on China will actually affect the American people. We'll be paying for that. Just like he said he was going to build, Mexico was going to build a wall. They didn't even build a wall. They laughed in his face. So it's like he makes all these promises and then he does nothing, period. And we get affected by that. So when I tell you that if he gets elected and he does put a 10% tax on a tariff on China and the rest of the world trying to trade with America, it's going to affect us. We'll be paying out of our pockets for that. Okay. So don't believe the hype.
That's such a great point. And he doesn't have a plan on what he or his administration would do next.
Right.
Because what you're reading there for Project 2025, people who are centrists or who may lean a little bit in the middle between Republican and Democrat, this is actually good. So what they want to do as far as trade and tariffs and reinforcing a China initiative is to stop that. They want to exclude China from global standards. They want more military and security measures against China. And of course, restricting Chinese investments. That sounds great on paper. And it makes people who believe in this Project 2025 say, see, this is something everyone can agree with. But it doesn't go deep enough to say, okay, once that is done, then what? How do we then make up for the lack of goods or increased costs of goods coming to America? That's a great point you just made.
Thank you. So then came the rise of big tech, which is now less a contributor to the U.S. economy than it is a tool of China's government. In exchange for cheap labor and regulatory special treatment from Beijing, America's largest technology firms funnel data about Americans to the CCP. They hand over sensitive intellectual property with military and intelligence applications to keep the money rolling in. They let Beijing censor Chinese users on their platforms. They let the CCP set their corporate policies about mobile apps, and they run interference for our rivals' political priorities in Washington. One side of big tech companies' business model is old-fashioned American competitiveness and world-changing technological innovation. But increasingly, that side of these businesses is overshadowed by their role as operatives in the lucrative employ of America's most dangerous international enemy. If you want to understand the danger posed by collaboration between big tech and the CCP, look no further than TikTok, the highly addictive video app used by 80 million Americans every month and overwhelmingly popular among teenage girls. I had to stop. I'm sorry, because it's like they're always blaming women in this document.
Why would they put that entry there? That's interesting.
Oh, gosh. Is in effect a tool of Chinese espionage. The ties between TikTok and the Chinese government are now loose, and they are not coincidental. The same can be observed for many U.S. colleges and universities. Through the CCP's Confucius Institutes, Beijing has been just as successful at compromising and co-opting our higher education system as they have at compromising and co-opting corporate America. A casual reader might take the last few pages as surveying a broad array of challenges facing the American people and the next conservative president: supranational national policy making, border security, globalization, engagement with China, manufacturing, big tech, and Beijing compromised colleges. Anything to say there, W1?
No, this is actually middle of the road stuff. This is talking about cybersecurity and protecting our interests and bringing cybersecurity into the forefront as far as defending and protecting against Chinese cyber attacks. They mentioned TikTok. We all know what happened with TikTok. And I think TikTok has a couple of months left to either respond, break up, or move somewhere else out of their location.
But I thought they were trying to buy TikTok.
Yeah. So, and then, of course, that'll open the front for American investors to buy TikTok. Very hypocritical. But anyway, this is all about U.S. cybersecurity capabilities and threats from Russia. Specifically from China.
Because there are only young girls on TikTok.
Right. Only young teenagers.
This is basically what it's saying. It's affecting young women.
Oh, my God.
Because the men are too smart to follow. The young men are too smart to follow in line with TikTok and their agenda. But the young girls are getting coerced and brainwashed by TikTok.
Right. And what's missing from this paper, which I don't see a lot of, as a matter of fact, there's almost none, is data and proof.
Right. International organizations and agreements that erode our Constitution, rule of law, or popular sovereignty should not be reformed. They should be abandoned. Illegal immigration should be ended, not mitigated. The border sealed, not reprioritized. Economic engagement with China should be ended, not rethought. Our manufacturing and industrial base should be restored, not allowed to deteriorate further. Confucius Institutes, TikTok, and any other arm of Chinese propaganda and espionage should be outlawed, not merely monitored. Universities taking money from the CCP should lose their accreditation, charters, and eligibility for federal funds. The next conservative president should go beyond merely defending America's energy interests, but go on offense, asserting them around the world. America's vast reserves of oil and natural gas are not an environmental problem. They are the lifeblood of economic growth. American dominance of the global energy market would be a good thing for the world and more importantly, for we, the people. It's not just about jobs, even though unleashing domestic energy production would create millions of them. It is not just about higher wages for workers who didn't go to college. Oh boy. Though they would receive the raises they have missed out on for 2 generations. Full spectrum strategic energy dominance would facilitate the reinvigoration of America's entire industrial and manufacturing sector as we disentangle our economy from China. Globally, it would rebalance power away from dangerous regimes in Russia and the Middle East. It will build powerful alliances with fast-growing nations in Africa and provide us the leverage to counter Chinese ambitions in South America and the Pacific. Locally, it would drive billions of dollars off private investment to the communities that have been hammered by globalization since the 1990s. And it would clarify our intentions to Beijing that the next president can ensure that a large part of America's reindustrialization is in the production of the equipment we will need to dissuade future foreign meddling with U.S. vital interest. Anything to say about that?
No, that's just more stuff about China.
And it's full, and it's full of bull crap too. I just want to say that.
No, I mean,
It's full of
it's their take on, aggressive approach to trade and economic relations with China. It's all aimed at reducing dependency. From their take, it's protecting national security, just doing away with doing business with China in general. Donald Trump has talked about this many, many times. Other Republicans, senators, representatives, they've talked about this many times over the years. So this is nothing new, but it's just one of the many pages within Project 2025. Again, some of this is agreeable, but the entire document is filled with things that will undo what is currently part of American government as we know it. This is just a small check as to say, okay, they're just not going to mess with China that much.
Right. Promise number 4, secure our God-given individual right to enjoy the blessings of liberty. Liberty, okay. The Declaration of Independence famously asserted the belief of America's founders that all men are created equal and endowed with God-given rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, as they try to strip you of your civil liberties. Remember that. It's the pursuit of happiness that is central of America's heroic experiment in self-government. When the founders spoke of pursuit of happiness, what they meant might be understood today as, in essence, pursuit of blessedness. That is, an individual must be free to live as his created ordained to flourish. Our Constitution grants each of us the liberty to do not what we want, but what we ought. This pursuit of the good life is found primarily in family, marriage, children, Thanksgiving dinners, and the like. Many find happiness through their work. Think of dedicated teachers or healthcare professionals, entrepreneurs or plumbers throwing themselves into their business. Anyone who sees a job well done as a personal reward. Religious devotion and spirituality are the greatest sources of happiness. The greatest sources of happiness around the world. Still, others find themselves happiest in their local voluntary communities of friends, their neighbors, their civic or charitable work. The American Republic was founded on principles prioritizing and maximizing individuals' rights to live their best life or to enjoy what the framers called the blessings of liberty. It is the radical equality, liberty for all. Yeah. Not just of rights, but of authority that the rich and powerful have hated about democracy in America since 1776. Wait a minute. They resent Americans' audacity in insisting that we don't need them to tell us how to live. It's the inalienable right of self-direction, right of self-direction of each person's opportunity to direct himself or herself and his or her community to the good that the ruling class disdains. You want to say something?
Yeah, I think I can sum promise number 4 up. It only has 5 points.
Okay.
Number 1 is protection of constitutional rights. So it goes on to say within the document, they just want to reinforce the Second Amendment, which is the right to bear arms, even
Okay.
on a rooftop.
Okay.
Ensure, ensuring free speech and upholding religious freedoms. Okie dokie. The second one is to reduce federal overreach, which is limiting the power of the federal government in order to increase, individual state autonomy. This is old school Republican stuff. And the third one is judicial reforms, which is appointing judges, right? We talked
Mhm.
about this, who are adhering to, these are the constitutionalist judges. They're adhering to the original interpretations of the Constitution. Think Clarence Thomas, think the last couple of judges that were put in there. And it goes on to say one of the five things about promise number 4 is the educational reforms. So
Mhm.
they're going to want to promote school choice. I think in this section they also talk about traditional values and the historical perspective in educational reforms. I'm not sure if that goes back to hitting kids on the arm and, I don't know, writing things down on a tablet. Not sure about that. But the last one, the fifth one for promise number 4 is economic freedom. The document goes on to talk about implementing policies to reduce the regulatory burdens on businesses. This is good for certain business owners, but if you read deeper, it goes on to say things about promoting free market principles, and to reduce taxes and to increase family financial autonomy. They cannot do that without offsetting, I think, the cost somewhere else. You just can't reduce taxes, and I don't know where you're going to make up the rest to pay for the federal debt. This has been something that Biden and Trump went back and forth on the last debate. It'd be good to see them debate again to talk more about that specific one. But promise number 4 covers those 5 things: constitutional rights, federal overreach, new judges, educational reforms, and what they call economic freedom.
Right. And it also says here that uh I don't know if you saw the last part here. This says the next president should promote pro-growth economic policies that spur new jobs and investments, higher wages, and productivity. Yes, that agenda should include overdue tax and regulatory reform. But it should go further and include antitrust enforcements against corporate monopolies. It should promote educational opportunities outside the woke dominated systems of public schools and universities, including trade schools, apprenticeship programs, and student loan alternatives that fund student dreams instead of Marxist academics. Just as important as expanding opportunities for workers and small business, this next president should crack down on the crony capitalist corruption that enables America's largest corporations to profit through political influence rather than competitive enterprise and customer satisfaction.
Man.
Yeah, I thought I'd read that for you. Ultimately, the left does not believe that all men are created equal. They think they are special. They certainly don't think all people have unalienable rights, unalienable right to pursue the good life. They think only they themselves have such a right, along with a moral responsibility to make decisions for everyone else. They don't think any citizen, state, business, church, or charity should be allowed any freedom until they first bend the knee. This book, this agenda, the entire Project 2025 is a plan to unite the conservative movement and the American people against elite rule and woke culture warriors.
They are using that word quite a bit throughout the
Yeah.
document. And it wasn't a word they used in 1980, 85,
Right.
90, 95, 2000. This is a direct consequence of that word being just leveraged for them over the last 5 years.
Yeah. Conservatives have just 2 years and one shot to get this right. With enemies at home and abroad, there is no margin for error. Time is running short. If we fail the fight for the very idea of America may be lost. But we should take this small window of opportunity we have left to act with courage and confidence, not despair. I'm reading this slowly because I want to let y'all hear this, because I have a hey Keyshawn, I have a theory on what I'm reading right now. W1. Let me go back up. But we should take this small window of opportunity we have left to act with courage and confidence, not despair. The last time our nation and movement were so near defeat, we rallied together behind a great leader and great ideas, transcended our differences, rescued our nation, and changed the world. It's time to do it again. Now, as then, we know who we are fighting and what we are fighting for our republic, our freedom, and for each other. The next conservative president will enter the office on January 2025 with a simple choice: greatness or failure. It will be a daunting test, but no more so than every generation of Americans has faced and passed. The conservative promise represents the best effort of the conservative movement in 2023 and the next conservative president last opportunity to save our republic. Okay, so we haven't even got to section 1. So that was part 5. Now I read that because of what happened yesterday. Okay, so can you imagine going up to someone that is 20 years old, that has been bullied, that has, may not be thinking right, maybe going through something emotional, because I'm not going to say mentally ill. I don't think the young man was mentally ill. We do know that he was a registered Republican, and telling him all these things. Would you put yourself out there for your country? This is just an idea. This is just my opinion. This is just a thought. Don't you want to save your country? Well, this is what you should do. You should be a martyr for your country. And then we had the incident from yesterday. You can he's already convinced 75 million people that everybody's coming for them, when those people don't, half those people don't probably even work. They are living off a pension somewhere in the country, in the woods, honey, in their little shack homes, buying it. They have all the eggs and stuff because they got the chickens and all that. You just never know what's going on with these people in their mindset. Because after we saw what happened yesterday, they are cussing at the cameras, throwing their middle fingers up. Now they over here marching in California. I think it was Sacramento. I'm not sure. I think it was Sacramento. They had a march in the streets. Drinking moonshine. They had a march in the streets for him today. He's strong. He's a fighter. You can't even take him out. This is how strong he is. He is of God, and God sent him to save us from these people. The left. They come to save us from the left. W1 doesn't believe that. But let me read this to you again. Conservatives have just 2 years and 1 shot to get this right. With enemies at home and abroad, there is no margin for error. Time is running short. If we fail the fight, for the very idea of America may be lost. So to me, that tells me you're going to do anything possible to get Donald Trump in office. We'll do anything to do, because time is running short. I have to make sure that we change the trajectory of what is going on right now. Because remember, even after that debate, they was tearing Joe Biden up behind his stutter and his mistakes. He was still getting all this attention for 2 straight weeks. almost 3 weeks. He's been getting this attention. Donald Trump did turn around and said something big is going to happen. And then bam, look what happened. He gets nicked in his ear. Y'all go watch that video because I don't know if I can show it, but y'all go back and you look at it, analyze it. Analyze what you are watching. Why did it take him? Why did it take so long for Secret Service to get to him? When they heard 5 pow pows, I don't think you can say the SHOT on there, but they heard 5 before they even ran up on this man to tackle him down. Something is dirty in the water. Conservatives have just 2 years at one shot to get this right. With enemies at home and abroad, there is no margin for error. Time is running short. If we fail to fight, for the very idea of America may be lost.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is smoke, there is fire, baby. Ain't the case. Now I know for sure that it was a staged incident. Period.
No.
Oh, they don't care about who gets hit, whatever. They don't care about that. Donald Trump don't even care about the people that surround him that comes to those things. This man is about trying to save himself. And if somebody got to get taken out, let that be that. Get out the way. You cannot tell me. I'm reading it right here. That's my aha moment right there, reading this in Project 2025. These people sit around, they plan, they do everything they can. They don't care. They take people down the same way they took down Black America during the Reagan administration with their crack cocaine, okay, and putting it in the communities. And then you got a nerve to sit over here and put, oh, the little Black children don't have their daddies at home. About 70% of Black children don't have daddies. Yeah, they don't, because you, Heritage Foundation, gave your agenda to Ronald Reagan to infest the Black neighborhoods and the Black communities with the crack cocaine. That's what you did. And you're trying to make us look like we stupid. See, the problem is, and now you over here hollering about DEI and that Kamala Harris, oh, she's a DEI hire. She's not intelligent enough to be vice president. Are you kidding me? She's DEI, and they've just spreading this around. So every time you get hired at a job now, it's gonna be, oh, you're a DEI hire. You can't fly planes. You don't know nothing about computers. You're not smart enough to do that. Why they jick and jive to Black music and go over there and try to sing old spiritual Christian gospel songs like they part of the Black African Black choir or something. We saw that boy get up there, that Navy boy sing. Now you know you don't sing like that. Now all of a sudden you got the spirit in you. Like you've been out there picking cotton or something. This is the bull crap that I'm talking about. Now y'all can miss me with the bull crap. I'm not a fool. I know we living in this matrix, but y'all better, which pill did Neo have to take to get his ass out the matrix? I'm reading it right here in my face. You cannot tell me that they not set that up. That's right. And they're getting rid of everything that has to do with Black people. And Clarence Thomas with his Uncle Tom having behind, I'm trying not to cuss y'all. Oh, I'm trying not to. Get his butt up there. And because he already got his money. See, he sold his soul to the devil, baby. And he knows it. You got anything to say, W1? Because I got to go get a drink of water because I am pissed off. Okay, I'll drop the link if anybody want to come, because I ain't reading no more of this crap right now today. I need a break. You know, piss me off.
Yeah. So Project 2025 is not something new. It's been around a long time. It really started in the 70s. It's the Heritage Foundation, but they broke ground in the 1980s. And it was indeed with the Ronald Reagan administration. The manifesto and the agenda they had for him was called the mandate for leadership, and it just outlined a series of policy guides and published multiple presidential administration narratives for him. So before there was a Project 2025, there was mandate for leadership. So it's been around a while. The reason why they want to press the current agenda because they know that there's going to be an election soon. So you have to round up the troops. You have to create a bonfire effect, and you have to get people riled up, riling up your base. So that's what you do. That's what they're doing. It's been around for a while. So nothing new. The events that took place this past yesterday. I don't know, Sonny. I don't think it was planned per se, but this agenda, exactly what they're talking about in Project 2025. It's just been a conservative agenda that's been around for a very long time. Once 2025 comes, they'll have another version of it, and they'll publish that. No different from the other think tanks. But this one has garnered so much attention because of how it's written, what's in the document, and who wrote it. The authors worked with and have known to be associated with Donald Trump. So that's why this particular document is garnering so much attention right now.
Hi, Stacey. How you doing?
Greetings, Sunny and W1 mods in chat. How y'all doing?
All right, all right.
Sunny, you know I was about to hop up here, sis. Okay? It's okay. Let me tell you why I believe that this is listen, let me tell you why I believe this is an inside job. Not just a plot or a scheme. I believe in my heart that this is an inside job. Again, on active duty, I've serviced and was selected for certain details for multiple presidents. 4 different presidents I've served next to the security detail, local police, all of that. When we canvass the area to cordon, we call it a cordon. When we cordon off the area prior to the president coming, or the presidential elect or presidential candidate coming to do their campaign speech, we cordon off the area, which means to basically create a boundary, right? A security boundary. At that moment, there will be multiple sweeps of the area, and it will be hundreds of yards away, oftentimes more than a mile away, right? Just as you will in combat, you will cordon off an area that has been deemed to be an enemy stronghold or something like that. We will create a boundary around a circle, okay? Anytime that occurs, multiple sweeps occur, not just once, not just twice. I'm talking about every hour, oftentimes on the hour, until and during and after the president or whatever campaign person is out there. The problem that I have is I sent you a message on IG last night, Sunny, and on yesterday on here. I had, because of military connects, I had the suspect's unalived picture hours before the news did, the mainstream media. That's what I was trying to send you. I also had pictures. My archery coach was there at the campaign rally. My archery coach that I've had for years for the Marine Corps and other international teams I've played for. He's a Marine Corps major and an officer, wounded, double amputee, everything. I talked to him, and I've also talked to other connects. Where they were, as opposed to where the suspect was unalived at, was a lot closer than 400 feet. In my message to you yesterday, Sonny, and I said I will send you multiple pictures. Sure, from where Trump was standing on stage, yeah, give that another 50 feet. From the pictures that I have, those rally goers were less than 50 feet from the structure. Period. That's what I have pictures of, to include him up close, unalived. My issue is that during the cordon, snipers, we have multiple names for them depending on the branches, but when special forces, CIA, DIA, DEA, everybody gets involved, not DEA, they're only involved in certain things, but DIA, CIA, special forces, and then local law enforcement, all of them are included. The snipers will usually take the highest point and they will look down towards wherever the campaign or the presidential elect person will be. This guy was on a structure that was lower than the snipers, Sonny. That is a fact based off of pictures. Hold on 1 second. Oh, 1 second. Naomi has it. Okay. Sorry about
Stacey,
that.
I didn't receive it. Did you send it to tell the
No.
people what's on it?
I tried to send it to you, but I can only send like a text message to you to IG. You had to accept the invite first, and then I was able to send it.
Oh, okay. I see.
You see
Okay,
what I'm saying?
uh-huh.
Yeah. So I was trying to send you, because again, I had all this information early yesterday through military channels, right?
Okay, I got it. I accepted. I'm sorry.
The structure, like I said, was below what normal sniper standpoints would be, if that would make sense. I'm trying to explain it like in a civilian manner, right? I have no doubt in my mind that this was an inside job, because there's no way even 400, say he was 400 feet away. Again, snipers are placed beyond that. Marines alone will shoot beyond 400. We shoot hundreds meters, yards, all of that away. You mean to tell me, say he was 2, 3, 400 feet away. You mean to tell me that the presidential security team was closer than that, to where they didn't see him coming? Like, the bystanders that were there stated that they saw him 3 to 4 minutes prior to shooting climb up that structure, lay out his rifle, which was AR-15 style rifle, prior to Trump starting his speech. They tried to get the attention of, I don't care what you say, it was an inside job, period. The fact that his structure, and they could say, oh, it was just a standalone structure. That's not what this picture shows. It's not a standalone structure. Anybody that works in maintenance or construction, if anybody in the chat knows what quad cons are, or if you ever see those shipping containers, it looks like that type of structure, right? But there was like 2 to 3, if I recall. I haven't looked back at it since last night. His structure that he climbed up on was lower than any of the scout snipers would have been placed at. So you can't tell me that this wasn't an inside job. In my opinion, they picked some poor country bumpkin from a rural area that did not care about his life. He was a registered Republican, all of that stuff. He just so happened to donate $15 to a Democratic pact of some sort. You can't tell me that they looked at this cat and was like, oh, you look real inbred. No one's going to miss you. Hey, 20-year-old kid, we'll give you a lifetime guarantee of, I don't know, whatever Trump's pillow man homeboy connect is. We'll give you a lifetime supply of king size pillows, or a lifetime supply of assault rifles. All this, yep, Kyle Rittenhouse, Keyshawn. At the end of the day, you can't tell me from a security standpoint that this was not an inside job.
Right.
And that's what I'm basically, and I'll send them to you,
Okay.
Sonny.
Please do.
I sure
So
will.
me and W1 can go over it because Mr. W1 does not believe that this was orchestrated. But after, like I said, after reading what I read, I personally, you can't tell me otherwise after reading that.
Right.
I believe they will go through any means
Hawkeye.
necessary
Well, and
to do what
then
they need to do.
also to tap on what you said about and I ever since yesterday I have not watched the news because I know what I was trained to do while protecting presidential candidates.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me mainstream media what goes on. I know that we rehearse that thing over and over and over and over. It does not take 5 seconds, especially if bystanders were saying, "Hey, there's a widow or a weirdo 50 to 100 feet east of us." No, when I say that those security details, they are looking at every single person in a crowd. You have scout snipers that are placed on top, high and low, that are literally honed in. You got some that are outboard facing, which means facing outside of the event, and you have the majority of them, the other half or the majority, are going to be facing inboard towards the event, looking at the crowds. And when we scan, we're scanning just like lifeguards.
Right.
Okay, when you're scanning a pool for a failed swimmer, right? You can't tell me this wasn't an inside job, especially when this guy's structure that he climbed up on was lower than those of the scout snipers. Hawkeye is the tactical unit. All of us that have served in high capacities had, well, not even just high capacities, on any military mission, tactical mission, we have different nicknames for whatever your squad or your team is, your tactical team.
Mm-hmm.
They took too long to hop up there. I'm sorry.
I
That's
thought
too long.
that was interesting too. I think
They
because when
took
you
too
see
long.
he gets hit, he supposedly gets hit when he gets hit, and then he grabs his ear and he think that was what about
Correct.
3 seconds, 3-4 seconds before
Yeah.
he fell. And I'm like, what?
Secret Service should
Secret
be
Service should be
literally right
standing right
there.
next to him.
Right there. They're scanning the crowd also. They are trained, I mean, hundreds of thousands of times, rehearsals to literally observe. You got a few they're going to observe the mannerisms of the candidate. You have a few that are going to be literally, if you think about it, you place, say you just place Trump in the middle. You got north, east, south, and west. You have multiple eyes in every single direction. Beyond that immediate perimeter, you have another set of eyes. Beyond that, you have another set of eyes.
That's
to
right.
include the scout snipers that are looking down. And then the ones that are also looking out and away. That's what we call outboard. I don't care what nobody say. That was an inside job. Period. I'm gonna drop down so that unless W1 has any questions or anything, I'm gonna drop down so I can send you these pictures.
Okay.
And one of them is extremely graphic, Sonny.
Okay.
And hey W1, sorry,
He
I
did.
don't know if I spoke or said hi.
He did. He did. That was very good.
What?
It was not a performance, sir.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm
that
sorry.
was.
I'm just angry because and now I'm seeing all the racist BS from other
Oh yeah.
CPs
Oh
and
yeah.
then military. I might even screenshot some of my military forums that you can see, Sonny. I mean, it is disgusting. Everything I was talking about, like the racism is alive and well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, it
But
is.
I'm gonna drop down so I can send this to you.
Okay.
To your
I'm
IG,
gonna
okay?
come back up. Okay.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
So what you think about that, W1?
I have a couple of thoughts. I think, first of all, the Secret Service, whoever was there, in the end, they did their job. They actually nullified the shooter within, what, 5 seconds, 10 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
I did see the snipers. So essentially, they did their job, but something was missed. something big was missed. And I think those facts will probably come out over the next, I don't know, weeks, months, because there's going to be an investigation, you know, what happened. And of course, the details will only be available to the public after it's thoroughly investigated within the government. Usually that's what happens. But yes, something was missed. The pictures I saw, there were empty rooftops. And I was always under the impression that before a dignitary of ex-president or a president comes into town, yes, there are sweeps and canvases of the area, but I thought it started the day before, and there's snipers everywhere. So just seeing empty rooftops, and then a ladder where he can climb up, that's definitely fishy. I think someone blew an assignment or something wasn't done thoroughly. But there's not enough facts as yet for anyone really to say what's going on. But a lot of theories are floating out there, and there's going to be a lot of theories to come afterwards.
Yeah, but there's no way in the world that you could have someone walking across a field, even if his weapon was covered, but you have something to cover it and you're walking, because he probably had it. I don't know how he had it because I didn't see him. But even you're walking across a field and people are pointing at this person like, this seems odd. This seems odd. And then you see him crawling across the top and they're pointing and you taking all your time, because in reality, if the snipers were doing their job, they would have taken him out before he could even make those shots. So to me, that already seemed kind of crazy, because I remember when I lived in Dallas, and I told you the story when George Bush's wife was at a hamburger place, and I was going there, and I'm like, who are these dudes walking around with these black suits? It was like five of them just on that block, on that sidewalk where the restaurant was. There was 5. And then when you walk inside, there were like 5 more just walking around, circling the place. So that, and then you had several standing by her. So that's why I say, ain't no way. Ain't no way. This is weird. Something is off. Something is off. And then it took forever to even get him down. He had to fall down by himself. That doesn't make sense. You hear shots going off, but then he falls down by himself. They would have been there. So this is off. When I read that little part from the Project 2025, I think they had their hands in it. Okay, you can laugh. But I think they have their hands in it because they'll do anything necessary. Anything necessary, by any means necessary, to do what they need to do to get this man reelected. And right now, he made a statement basically saying, oh, I was going to go in 2 days to Milwaukee or wherever he's supposed to be going to do what he needs to do with his rallies or whatever. And I was going to go leave in 2 days. But now I'm going today because I'm strong and no one's going to take me down. And see, it's just all this reality TV mess, like someone said, oh, he needs to win an Oscar. He should win an Oscar for this, because he didn't get pow in the ear. That was shrapnel. Because I really believe if we got a hit in his ear, that whole ear would be hanging. Once I started looking at it, I'm like, this is off. This is off. This is off. This is off. And now I have a military Marine telling you what it is. Y'all go back and listen to what Stacey had to say if you missed out what Stacey said. Stacey B said. And she was in the Marines, honey.
I think we shouldn't wait for more facts to come out, because
okay, I'll wait.
we can't move towards a hasty generalization.
First of all,
we only have a small sample size of the facts, right?
Right.
And
then first of all, right. Okay. And first of all, they were saying that there could be several shooters. Right.
Listen, before the grassy knoll theories come out.
Okay. But yet he's walking around. Let me put my shoes on. Let me put my shoes on. You just got hit in your ear that you claim was a bullet that grazed your ear. A bullet grazed your ear and it's still attached to the side of your head. It ain't missing. Even Mike Tyson bit, what's his name's ear off with teeth.
There's going to be a lot of theories, and it sounds like
You still
grassy
have
knoll
your
theories
ear,
are already coming
a
out.
bullet all in here. Something needs to be missing when a bullet grazes your ear. Child, bye. Yeah, Holyfield. Mike Tyson latched on to Holyfield's ear, took half of his ear off. Something is off. So I was wrong with what I was saying yesterday when we were talking. Thank you. I got it, sweetie. Let me say something. Something is off. Because you're not going to sit there and jump up. Let me put my shoes on. Let me put my shoes on. But yet there may be another person out there trying to take you out. But you're going to rise up wide open for your people to see that you are okay. Then you're going to throw up the fight, the power sign. Fight, fight, fight comes out of your mouth. You're full of crap. You would be ducking and diving if it was real. You just got hit. You're going to, I got to cover myself because it's all planned. You're not adrenaline and all of that. Oh, it felt like a mosquito bite. And then I just failed because I heard the whiz come by my ear. And it just touched your ear. Come on. Now you're going around talking about you was shy. You got all these people marching in the street for you because they over here following the filler on the roof and mess with this bull crap. I ain't got time for it. Y'all miss me with the bull. Miss me with it, honey. Project 25 just told me, Heritage Foundation and everybody that contributed to this hot mess just told me that they'll do anything. They'll have to do anything because they got to fight to keep America to what they need it to be. They just told me. You see, sometimes you tell off on yourself when you talk too damn much. Right? And this is what's happening. They telling you. They talk too much. Because they're feeling themselves. Just like they try to say that the leftists in the Democratic Party is feeling themselves because they're only thinking about themselves. You're only thinking about yourself. You're going to sit up here and talk about women, the young girls watching TikTok like as if only girls watch TikTok. And they're being influenced by TikTok. We got to do everything we got to possibly do to save this country. Child, bye. What pill did Neo have to take to know that he was in the, what pill did he take? Because I can't remember. Was it the blue pill or the red pill that he took that opened his eyes?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I don't know if it was a blue pill. Whatever pill that Neo took to open his eyes, that Orpheus told him to take. You can take the red one or you can blue and you can go back to the bull crap, or you can stay over here and be woke. I suggest y'all take that woke pill because they're over here playing in our faces. And I said, don't let Trump play in your face because that's what he's doing.
Okay. I just have to say this. I don't know if you looked at the pictures. This is the other thing, Sonny. Whenever we have a tactical incident, we cordon the area off, just like police or law enforcement puts up tape. People are not going to be that close. Not when it comes to a high visibility situation such as this. Look how close those people are to the structure. They stated that they were only 50 feet. When I first got my reports, they said that they were 50 feet away from that structure.
And he was 3 to 4 minutes sitting on top of the structure.
Correct.
3 to 4 minutes.
Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So it looks crazy to me from the start.
And he's
laying there.
After
he was already unalived. However, in a tactical situation, yes, during in combat we call it a tick or troops in contact. When you have to just boom, there's no whatever, you just go for what you know, you got your target, brat, 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 whatever. However, at that moment, there was enough law enforcement Secret Service. There was enough federal agents there that they would have already pushed them folks. You mean to tell me that the people that were stating that they was only 50 feet away from him? Now, this could have been, the outside audience of the rally, correct? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that this was the outer elements of the crowd. Either way, it was 50 feet from them. And they saw my man's up there, climb up there with his AR-15 style weapon for 3 to 4 minutes. They tried to flag down, and it wasn't just them, it was people on the other side of Trump stating, hey, if you are 400 feet away from someone, do you really think you're going to have that type? Look at the crowd that was there. Do you think
Right.
that you're really going to have the visual visibility that they had? The majority of them were older. Their eyes, most of them had glasses on. A lot of them didn't, but either way, they were older. Your visual is not going to be the same at 400 feet. I don't care what glasses as it is at 50.
And who would take this kind of picture anyway and then sell it to the paper?
Exactly. So, and every time the media keeps putting it out, the distance keeps changing. I wonder why.
If you go back and you read about the young man, they said he wasn't good at being a sharp pow in the first place.
A sharpshooter, yeah. So, for one, I'm gonna tell you right now, off rip, I knew it wasn't no minority that clanked him, that shot towards him, because had it been a black or a brown person, their face would have been plastered, unalived immediately right after. Right. I knew it was gonna be some F stuff. We're gonna just F stuff. I'm gonna keep there. Because it took a minute. It took hours, 4 hours, for them to even reveal this much. The next scenario that I presume is going to happen is, he suffered from mental health issues. I like I was telling W1 last time and the rest of the chat. I look at Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. I look at a ton. I look at far right, far left, because I need to gain a whole perspective, the entire context. And when people have opposing views, I especially pay attention to them, because I want to know, why does their brain tick the way it does? To me, it looks like psychosis, but that's just to me, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, extremism is extremism. I will say this: no candidate, no presidential violence, political violence has no place. I don't care what side. No one should be getting shot at. No different than everybody in the street. Regular people should not be getting unalived at the rate that we are, especially minorities, right?
Right.
I'm looking at the whole situation. For one, how come Fox News didn't want to say until today that he was a Republican registered voter?
Because they wanted him to be an Antifa person or a far left person.
Another CC, I don't know if you're cool with him, but I directed his whole chat over here yesterday.
Who?
The Jedi. And
I never heard of him.
Well, they showed their ass. And I like Jedi, but now I'm looking a little sideways. Like, hold on, he just swore up and down, and he's still doing it on his page. Like, it's the left, it's the Democrats, and it's the Antifa. And I was like, what? And I got so bothered, but I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of those people
realized that I was in that type of atmosphere. I just said,
I think those people will say whatever they need to say to
He's in Florida. Should I say less? He's in Florida.
Well, I'll retract what I was about to say. You know?
Yeah, there's nothing else to say. He's in Florida.
Right.
So, I mean, it just because we have similarities, Puerto Rican, Black, Cubano, any of that, there's a difference between Floridians that are of that background and then Cali or Michigan or New York. There is a huge difference in ideologies. So I just had to just be like, all right, y'all got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I mean, I saw a video today from a young guy with his dreads and everything, literally saying that you need to unite behind Trump because this happened to him. And this dude had like 30,000 followers. And
Uh-oh. Can y'all hear me in the chat? Or is that just my audio like messing up for Sunny? Is that my audio? Sunny, I'm gonna drop down. I don't know if it's mine or yours. Or put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me. Okay. Can y'all hear Sunny? Put a 2 in the chat if y'all can hear Sunny. Or if you, okay. Can y'all hear Sunny? It's Sunny. W1, you there? W1, you there? Well, until they return, as long as y'all can hear me. Yeah, W1's on mute. And please, anybody that's from Florida, I'm not prejudging you, but when I come across those type of mindsets that are straight up like, yes, Antifa, and I'm like, well, did you read any bills? Did you read any laws? And they're just so headstrong, and they're just like, well, I know what I'm saying. Specifically, Jedi, shout out to him, even though I'm a little tight with him right now. He was like, well, I'm on this channel called Rumble. Don't listen to any mainstream media, which I feel him on that. But if you're listening solely to Rumble, that's a far-right extremist conservative site. All I was trying to tell the good brother was expand your knowledge base. Again, research over me search. Expand yourself beyond just the little cubby hole that you listen to. I listen to every single perspective that I could come across because I want to make an informed decision for myself. And I want to also see what's in black and white. Is Sunny back?
yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
They trying to get me, girl. Look.
Girl, W1, we couldn't hear you neither, brother.
They trying it, baby. Look. I don't trust them. But
Right,
look,
Natasha.
But yeah, I feel like what was I saying?
Girl, I don't know. You threw me in a content creator mode. I had to, I hope the audience was like, oh, okay, well, she ain't a blob on a,
No, it does.
trying to
I don't
keep
know.
it going.
Disconnection there when I was in the middle of so the young man was basically saying that if they have to stand behind Donald Trump, this hasn't happened since Kennedy. And I'm like, dude, you don't know politics clearly because it happened to Reagan, and so it's crazy how people believe that, oh my God, especially this younger generation, these people don't know politics. They really don't know politics unless you served in the military. A lot of these people are, listening to TikTok, reading headlines, not reading the article, not researching. Because if you can sit here and say, oh, Project 2025 has nothing to do with Black people, that's because you're not reading nor are you researching it, right? So you're just going by headlines. You're going by clickbaits. And that's what a lot of these younger people do because they don't have the patience to sit there and read an article. When I look at articles and blogs and the catchy statement in the blog, they are responding a lot of times in the statements to the title to the blog. They didn't even read the context. So it's just, and sound bites. They don't know anything. People who pop up and say, oh, we got to support Trump and look what happened to Trump, or, you have no idea what the hell is going on. You have no idea. But like I told my husband today, I said, if Trump wins, bless it, those poor people that have to deal with that, because then they'll understand what they are dealing with, because it's going to be a hard road ahead. Am I still here? Can y'all hear me? Okay.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, okay, I was making sure. They're going to have a hard time dealing with life, because they implement this. So you see, they're saying we got to hurry up and get it put into place. You got a man, you're going to vote for Trump, who said he wants to rewrite the Constitution so he doesn't have to step down. And I guess when his time is up, what is he going to do? Put his autistic son in place? Is that what he's going to do? I'm just curious. Because now since he's a king and his son is the prince, they're going to put him into place? That little boy who has no personality whatsoever? Because I heard he was autistic. I don't think he's autistic. Mm-hmm. But okay.
There's always another Trump. There's always another Trump. There's always going to be someone else. As long as these two parties.
I'm okay with that. And of course, there's always going to be someone else. But I'm going to tell you right now, if Joe Biden wins and you have put it in place about Project 2025, because they're not going to stop.
Correct.
And that's okay, because now we have knowledge. And if we have 4 years of Joe Biden, we can be glorified with Joe Biden in office, that we have conquered the devil, right? And then we have to keep conquering the devil, because I think because right now, like I said last time, the economy is recession has gone down. People are working, even the housing market is kind of sliding down. The prices and stuff are coming off. Interest rates, I believe, are being lowered. So if Donald Trump comes in office, he's just going to take, they're going to give it to him like, oh, you see, we had jobs and we had all of this when Trump was in office, the same way when he took the credit for what Obama did. Right. And then he really got his butt up in there, and they implemented what they need to do, Heritage Foundation, when in 2016, 17, when he got in there, and they were implementing things then, getting rid of everything that Obama tried to put in place. And look what happened. Look what happened. Cousin 19 came to town and said, you shut the whole world down. 2020 vision is here. We saw a man get murdered in the streets because, and then Black Lives Matter protesting. He's talking about shoot him in the street. You need to shoot him down, and they're tearing up to kill him and all of that. That's what he said with his little Bible in his hand upside down. If you are such a Christian and you love God and you love the Bible and your favorite scriptures that you can't even quote, that you have never quoted in your life, and you walk up and you hold the Bible upside down, that's Beelzebub walking. Y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. I don't even care at this point. I really don't, because you already know what it is. For real, I'm not with the mess. I'm just not with it. I'm not with it at all.
I was going to say, and like I said, forgive me because I was late, so I don't know what was talked about like beforehand. The other thing that bothered me with Trump was, which was very telling also, again, was Secret Service. Secret Service did the right thing. Whenever you get hired for Secret Service, your job is to put your body, you make a silhouette of your own body to protect the president, right? Which is why you saw them multiple times trying to put their arms up, put their head above his. Shorty, the lady, obviously she don't do too much, but the guy next to her left, tried to fill in with his bicep and his arm, his forearm. Trump really was terrified like that. He would not, first of all, you putting up a whole fist out there like you was one of the Black pioneers in sports, my boy. Okay? That was offensive to me. And then he mouthed the words, fight, fight, fight. He wants a civil war in the event that he loses this election. He has stated it time and time again that it is going to be a quote unquote bloodbath, right? That's a dog whistle to me. You are calling out your Patriot Front, who is a bunch of soft pretzels in khaki pants, anyway, with a mask on. Let's call it what it is. Y'all are some fruitcakes, not in a gay sense, but just soft. Okay, they don't even qualify to be one of us in the LMNOP community. Okay, um, the dog whistle, I could deal with that whole photo op where he's pushing Secret Service down, and he's throwing up that fist. Come on, that's a civil rights era type fist. Who are you? You know what I'm saying? That was offensive to me. I don't know how anybody else feels about that, but to me, I see what it is. Like I said, I heard the dog and the dog whistle when I served under him, when he was my president, my chief, right? And it's trash. It's trash. And if no one else sees that, because they want to prioritize me search over research, I don't know how to help other than to just pray that the one person I talk to at the grocery store or the one person I talk to at a hospital has enough common sense and compassion to open their heart and hear the plight of marginalized people. You know, it's disgusting.
It
You
is.
up there, you had a whole glass shard on your face. First of all, that's not what my brother was grazed by a bullet. Okay, my late brother, he's since passed, but not because of that. He was grazed by a bullet. A bullet grazing does not look like that. That was a sharp cut too that went across his cheek and then through his up to his ear. That's not what that looks like. A grazing leaves also a trail, a burn trail. Okay? I've seen it, I've smelled it, I've seen unalive bodies, I've picked up brain matter. I've done a lot of things in combat that your normal, ordinary person would never even fathom to create in their mind. I've done a lot of things in combat. That's not what that looks like. It's not. That's all I had to say.
Well, I'm glad that you're here to confirm that that is not a bullet wound or a grazing of a bullet, because you have seen it, like you said, because you served in the military for how many years, Stacey?
Sorry, I was chatting. I did 20 years in the Marine
Okay.
Corps, and
20 years.
I spent my entire adult life up from 17 to 37 in a state of war in combat, serving. I've been to Iraq multiple times, Afghanistan, multiple tours,
Mm-hmm.
multiple during kinetic timeframes when it first popped off, and towards the middle when it was easing back. Everything that I went through over there was kinetic, which means that it was a lot of firefights, a lot of bombing, a lot of death, a lot of all of that. We didn't have air support in the beginning. We didn't have enough, rather. We had a
Mm-hmm.
few. So when I talk about certain things, like I literally can smell it, I can feel it, I can taste it. My senses are re-heightened. Then when I see some fugazi like this, it's irritating to me
Right.
because this ain't that. That isn't this, rather.
Right.
To me, it's making a mockery. And like he said, he talked about so he even made a comment about my fellow vets, saying that he didn't respect people soldiers who got shot.
Right.
He
Mm.
didn't care about Paul Pelosi when he got mugged and beat upside his head. He
Right.
didn't care about McCain. He didn't care about. So now you want to go on this? Oh, I'm a survivor tour. I'm on my 50 cent. Da 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 da. You know what? What? It's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy. So now you got this rural kid, this 20-year-old who's a registered Republican, who probably swallowed, I mean, he probably watched half his family swallow their teeth because they probably didn't have enough insurance. You know, this, that, and the other. They're in like bum freak Pennsylvania, right? A lot of them probably started catching up and was like, whoa, they about to take away our Medicaid and Medicare, our food stamps. That's what the majority of people, that the highest demographic that utilizes such welfare resources are white people in the rural communities.
Yes.
And that is why Fox News, faux news, did not want to speak on the truth. They want to sit here and lollygag when it comes to, well, we don't know much about the suspect. Yes, you do.
They
Yes, you do.
do. 'Cause I had a feeling that was a newscaster. They get that. They
Yeah.
get all that information way before we,
Mhm.
we even before
Right.
TikTok even hits TikTok and they discuss if they're
Okay.
going to talk about it or not. Yeah.
No, they do. The problem is that it came from somebody within their own demographic, their circle, their political demographic, rather, not their specific, their
Right.
political ideologist type background, like all of that. So and that goes to that whole saying. I guarantee you, Sonny, I'm about 96% sure they're gonna say, even though he has no law enforcement record, he was a good student in school. He grew up in the farm town. He was a registered Republican. They're gonna somehow say that he had a mental health disorder.
But he also came from a middle class family, upper middle class.
Okay, that part. Yeah.
So
That
something
part.
is off. I
Mhm.
don't think, but even W1 said they can't claim mental illness because he was smart in math and science. He got some type of certificate for math and science.
$500 STAR certificate. He did. Which I mean, yeah, I understand what W1's talking about, but you can be highly gifted with the special needs and still receive awards. That does not mean that you are going to be mentally ill to the standpoint of, I'm going to go and target a presidential candidate.
I don't think he just didn't look like that type of kid to me that would target that man.
Right.
I'm sorry. When I saw him, I was like, what? And they said he was working in the hospital as like an aide or something, helping in the hospital of like feeding people. He worked in the cafeteria. So, he had a little job that he was doing. I just can't see. Let me get my rifle and go out here and shoot at the president. Pow. I don't know. I don't know. Right. Cannot say child on this damn doggone thing. But no. To me, I think they approached him.
Right. Let's get him. He's small town. Nobody's ever going to suspect him. And usually those that come from troubled backgrounds, they come from like these rural, psychedelic, trying to keep it cool. Sorry. Yeah. The kind that slips through the cracks, Sonny, is what I'm getting at. No one's ever gonna miss him. He's not attractive. He's not gonna look like he belongs in society. You're talking about high class, and let's not forget what the CIA and FBI has a history of doing, right? Of exterminating certain candidates. Let's not forget about that. In the past, let's think about Malcolm X. Let's think about Martin Luther King. Let's think about
the leader of the Black Panthers. What's his name?
Yeah. Let's not forget what is possible. What is a possibility? And I'm no conspiracy theorist, but I do know from certain training that I've gone through, what happened is not what typically happens. So now you have Republicans and Democrats both calling out like, hey, that's a security issue. You mean to tell me a security detail and a tactical detail that works for the president has that type of security deficit? Are you serious? I doubt that.
I doubt it too.
I'm sorry. Not to that degree. Not at all. W1, what do you think?
I'm trying to keep up with where you guys are going. I'm reviewing the notes. Listen, I think someone tried to shoot the former president of the United States, and that person was unalived on a rooftop yesterday. And I'm gonna wait until all the facts come out to see who's at fault, who missed what, who messed up, and where it goes. What I'm more concerned about is the fact that we had a presidential candidate that stumbled a bit and mumbled a bit and messed up a few words. And the next day he was vilified, and everyone wanted him to step down immediately. Here we have a presidential candidate that almost lost his life, and there's zero talk about him possibly stepping out the race because of this traumatic moment with the campaign and the election just around the corner. Where's the energy for that? So I too, and I think Sonny also, we try to listen to, get our information from a variety of sources, far left, far right, overseas. Actually, the best coverage of United States news is overseas. So that's my concern. All this is just distraction. The T-shirts, the 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 event. This is all distraction. I'm still keeping focused on what's at hand because it's in times like this when we're distracted that things happen underneath, right before our eyes. We stop paying attention to things that are going on in Congress. So my focus is there right now, um, until all this dust settles and we figure out who's who and who's all this. So that's where I am, and I think I'm going to remain there until some of these the facts of the events kind of unfold over the next weeks or months.
But so usually W1 and I would make a bet. We're not going to make a bet today. But I will say that because I've been right on a lot of things thus far, I was right about this attempt. I said this,
You did.
it's coming close to this time that something is going to happen. And I think, and so hopefully someone will come forward because this is 2024 and this is the truth, the year of the truth. Hopefully, that's according to Cat Williams, right? Anyway, someone will come forward and say this was a staged incident. This is not real. Because I find it very interesting that they were able to find this young man's name and all this information about him, but he had no ID on him. And what they do, facial recognition or whatever?
No, so in the field, what we use is biometric. We have field biometric kits where they can literally take a deceased person's
Fingerprint and all that?
you can do a fingerprint, and you can also hold open the eyelids and you can scan the eyes. It's an iris detection system, and then yes, fingerprints. Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we've been doing that for 15, 17 years now. Yeah.
Child, we need to talk behind
That's
in the back.
we so we take those over to the Middle East oftentimes, because like I said, I was in Iraq and Afghanistan, and we were using them while I was over there. We have listen. There's a lot that civilians don't know. Okay, and because they don't have identification, that's how we would track them. We would track who we considered was our terroristic targets, their family members, terrorist sympathizers. That's what we use, biometric kits, field kits. Yep.
Wow, I didn't know that. See, every time you come up, I learn something new. What you about to say, W1?
No, and that database is currently being filled because you're naturally, for those who did, naturally giving your retinal scans at the airport.
Oh yeah, I did.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no.
Yeah, I remember that. But so yeah, well, I find it interesting, and I read a little bit of he had detonated bombs in his car or something like that. Is that true? Anybody? I don't know that to be true.
What was
No.
the question?
That he had bombs like bombs in his car and around the
So,
house.
you talking about the suspect?
The suspect.
I did not hear that, but again, I have not been on mainstream media today
Mm-hmm.
looking at that. I did not get any indication from that either from my military sources, but I can check that.
Okay,
And
'cause
when I
it may not
find
be
out that
true. It may
I
just
give
be
you
some, something people are putting out there to get people just to get clicks and views. You know what I'm saying?
the A, what I tell you all last night, like I said, certain CCs was putting out, well, I listen to far right Rumble and whatever them redneck hippie hillbillies over there are putting out on Rumble. That's literally what they're taking for word. And I said, well, I asked the CC, I said, where are your sources? Well,
Right.
no. Where are your sources? Because I do research over me search. Where's your sources? What's on Rumble? Well, Rumble is a far right conservative site. So, like, what's that? Where's your other sources that I can verify?
I mean, I don't know, but uh reading Project 2025 has led me to seriously believe that this was definitely a planned situation. Mhm. And he didn't get powed in the ear because that little ear would be gone by now. All the blood is in here, so it hit him. It grazed him. I think it would have took his ear off. A piece of his ear off. It's a bullet. Anyway.
Well, so that's the. I mean, ultimately, can we count on? Okay, how can I say this? Where's the checks and balances, right?
Mm-hmm.
The media is supposed to be checks and balances. It's been that way for generations, right? The problem is that you got so many uh, cross contamination, venture I say, cross contamination between who owns the media and what's going to actually be put out. Like I said, those pictures that I sent you yesterday, Sonny, I didn't get that from mainstream media.
Right.
I got that from inside military sources, like straight up, no blurring, So imagine what's going over to the far right or the far left extremists, right? Because I'm more of a independent centralist mindset, Democrat
Right.
leaning, however, and that's how I vote. Imagine the propaganda, because you know one thing that I've noticed, a common denominator, like I said, the Iraqis were very intelligent. They were very civilized versus those that were not in Afghanistan. The Afghans are extremely illiterate compared to the Iraqis.
Mm-hmm.
What was the underlying tone? Propaganda. That is a underlying tone in America too.
Mm-hmm.
Propaganda, whether it's TikTok, social media, whatever. I don't like TikTok. I'm not on it. However, I understand why it's a threat to the U.S. government, because it's also a source of information.
Right.
I get that. I
That they
understand in
can't
China
control. Right.
they it's unrestricted. Correct. I
Right.
also understand that in China, where it is centralized out of, they don't show on TikTok what we show over here. It's all
Exactly.
educational over there. Over here, it is completely unrestricted, which means that propaganda is going to come and go freely, right? And so now you're in this battle of, okay, what is correct? What is right? That is why I constantly urge and encourage like mad people to actually go to these .gov sites, go to a verifiable site, stop listening to hearsay. The Republicans are counting on their uneducated base to go off of hearsay.
Right.
All those hillbillies that are missing all their teeth and yeah, Trump is my father. He's the savior. He was sent here from God.
Right.
And he got shot and he did the Matrix and he did the Little Kim, that rapper girl. He did that dance and he eluded all those bullets.
Right.
No, that motherfucker was sorry, Sonny.
That's
He
okay.
was hit with a shard of glass twice. Okay. Okay.
Because I
Yeah.
think if he would have gotten hit with the bullet, I really believe he would have hit the ground because it would have been so much impact in his ear.
I'm just
Right.
correct. So, well, furthermore, let's look at it. Okay, say he did get hit with you mean to tell me that the same two bullets that supposedly grazed his cheek and blew off his ear had enough power behind it to create brain matter in a man that was several feet away from them?
Right.
Think about it, Sonny. I've seen this. I know what grazed skin looks like. It looks burnt, a trail of burns, and then it has an exit. It continues to exit. His ear is still intact. Until I see Trump's ear not intact, I don't believe none of it. I
Right.
believe that it was sharded glass.
Or
Period.
fake blood. That's what's the name said it was fake blood.
Yeah, it could have been that. I saw Amanda Steele say that too because they
Yeah.
do have that on the acting scene. But you mean it now? I do know. I understand the power of weapons, but that is a low caliber uh, 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 AR-15 or um, M16, anything like that. Five, 6 rounds. 22s. You got anything between a 22 and a 5.56 round, right? We're not talking about a 50 cal round. We're talking about something, a 5.56 round at best, coming from quote unquote 400 feet away, grazing Trump's cheek, but then blowing out somebody's brain past him. No, that's not how that works. It doesn't work that way trajectory wise when it comes to round trajectory. It just don't work like that. The further around goes, the weaker it becomes. Granted, if you shoot around straight up, it's going to come right back down.
Right.
But the trajectory is not going to be the same as if you just shot it. I don't know how else I can explain that. I'm telling you, from a round perspective, that's not consistent with this guy getting his head shot. And with this young man, this young assassin, quote unquote, shooting from a level that is below scout snipers, no, it's an inside job to me. I don't care what nobody say.
Because in this article, this is AP, it says that Crooks graduated from Bethel Park High School in 2022. In a video of the shooters of his graduation ceremony posted online, Crooks can be seen crossing the stage to receive his diploma, appearing slight build and wearing glasses. So he's a small guy. The school district said it was incorporated. Okay. It also said that Crooks tried out for the school's rifle team, but was turned away because he was a bad
Shooter.
yes. I
Yeah.
don't know if I can say that word.
Well, we another term you can use is marksman. He's a bad marksman.
Marksman and current captain of the team, Frederick Mack, a current captain of the team who was a few years behind Crooks at the school. So if it was that far off, and here it says he wasn't that good of a marksman. Okay, he hit glass and he hit somebody else, but we don't know if somebody else hit the people in the audience.
Well, and exactly, Evangelist Val. That's my whole point. The structure that he climbed. I'm just addressing Evangelist Val. The structure, like I said, it is very similar to, we call them quad cons, or if you see on those barges, those boats, those shipping containers. His shipping container that he climbed up on top of was lower than the scout snipers that were on the perimeter looking towards the rally. That's exactly why I believe that it was an inside job. And then he was 50 feet away from the outside perimeter of the audience of those that attended the rally. climbing up 3 to 4 minutes prior to Trump speaking with his AR-15. You can't tell me that it's not an inside job at all. Security alone is either the entire squad of the security detail is incompetent. They was hungry. They was sleepy. I don't know what excuse they can come up with.
I
You
don't know.
cannot tell me that every single scout sniper, say the security detail, you can't, because like I said, they rehearse these things hundreds to at least 1,000 times. Every single day they are rehearsing these type of incidents.
And why would that container be so close to near the stage, and
Exactly.
where the 400 feet, or excuse me, was it 150 yards, something like that? Why would that
It
container
keeps
be
moving.
there?
Yep, it keeps moving. Look at that map I sent you.
Yeah.
Now, I could see where it could be between 50 feet to 50 yards. 50 feet from the map that I showed you, Sonny, in your messages, to say 50 yards. That's 150 feet, right? I could see that. But even still, when you have Secret Service and you have feds and you have the Secret Service Tactical Movement Team, which is Hawkeye currently, when you have them on the cordon, on the perimeter, they are much further than that. And then you have layers, and everyone is strategically placed at certain distances. That's what we have always done whenever we had to provide security for a campaign or a presidential component coming in onto base. If we do that on base and we have them far outside the flight line, far outside the perimeter, we have we have metal detectors, we have all this stuff. You mean to tell me somebody can get that close? I doubt that.
So okay, so Trump was here, and then the guy was over there it looks like a building.
It's a structure. It's a shipping container, basically turned into a building. Yeah.
Building, right.
Mm-hmm.
Why even put a stage near something like that, in open field? Why don't you put the stage somewhere that's not near somewhere where people can climb or somebody can climb? That would be these people have been doing this for years. They know that, this has happened in the past. Why put the stage right there?
That's not the issue. That's actually, Sonny, that's not ever an issue, because a lot of times when we have presidential candidates come, what they do, we would do an initial sweep as military. We would do an initial sweep. We got our metal detectors out, just as if we have our bomb dogs out, our bomb squad, our EOD is what we call them. Explosives division, they're out here, we're waving our wands, we're checking for bombs. After us, when I say that there's multiple sweeps that take place the day before, 2 days before, the day before, the day of, during that day, the day after, the amount of security that goes on during these campaign rallies is crazy. When the buildings when I say that they will literally clear out, I don't care if you're in the middle of Manhattan or Times Square, they will clear out several buildings. They will bomb sweep every single ounce of each building and clear it out. So the buildings is not an issue. It's the fact that the personnel that created that cordon or that perimeter. You mean to tell me that this guy just walked up willy-nilly and just said, oh, let me climb up this shipping container. Let me take even though I got scout snipers on top of me in higher structures, you even have some in trees, because that's what they'll do. You know how hunters go in these wooden chairs in the trees and hunt for like deer, bear, whatever? They do the exact same thing. But these are people.
And
So
he walked openly.
He walked right up to it.
Because people saw him and were pointing at him.
Yeah.
That's why I was thrown out like, that's off. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And then you got the crowd saying, hey, hey, there's some guy in a gray t-shirt with American flag on his right shoulder that, you know, and he's aiming at us. You mean to tell me that the police, they said that multiple people reported that to the
The
security
police.
detail that was there and the police. You mean to tell me that that wouldn't have been called over the radio? Like, breaker, breaker, da 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 da, whatever, alert, alert, red fox, da, 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 whatever the code was for that particular tactical team. No, I'm telling you, Sonny, that's not how it goes at all. When I say that the minute, and oftentimes tactical teams will have one word, possibly two. There's an escalation of force that is applied to each word that brings a certain level of alert, right? This is trash. You mean to tell me all these people sat up here and said, whoa, look over there. There's Billy Bob he's climbing up now. He's on the fourth rung of the ladder. He's almost there. All right. 4 minutes until 3 minutes now until D-Day. No, they would have took him out instantly as a
Right.
threat.
Right.
That's not how that goes. You
That's
know what
all.
I'm saying? Yeah.
And then the reaction of the slow reaction,
The slow
to
reaction.
getting to
Yeah.
Trump.
Yep. Secret Service is literally, they're supposed to be at 1 to 2. It's a 1 to 2 step cadence. 1 to 2 steps. You grab him, you literally tackle the presidential candidate and you hover him and you create a silhouette over him. You don't wait 4 or 5 seconds and then, oh, what are we doing? What are we doing? Now, what are we doing? That lady, she was communicating. Hey, team, alert, alert. What are we doing? How are we doing this? However, again, that is a rehearsal that is practiced thousands of times.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And when I say, when we've had generals, 4-star generals, we literally have a security detail 1 to 2 steps off of them. It's usually 1 to 2. 4 or 5 seconds? No. And then the tactical Hawkeye comes in, even longer than that, 8 to 10 seconds. Get out of here. Hell no. It's an inside job. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah.
I mean, but y'all can go back and y'all
The
can
game
sign
is
up for
real,
y'all
baby.
shows.
I told you they were playing chess. I said it. They're
Yeah,
playing
they
chess
are.
over here. They don't
Oh,
care. They're playing chess.
and then I heard a video today, Sonny, where they were interviewing like rally goers that was there, and this one dude, and I can't remember what channel. It was like, you know, you on YouTube and it just pop up, and I don't know if I saved it or not, but a dude was like, whoever interviewed him, they were like, what does this mean? And a lot of them was like giving a middle finger and saying, F you, USA, USA. And this guy just kept screaming Obama. And that told me right then and there, you so triggered from a black man getting hired as president, or elected, not hired, but elected as president years ago. And that's what he kept blaming this whole thing on. One word, Obama. And I was like, what? And so, and then I was listening to like some other stuff, and I follow a few different people on social media. And the point, this white lady, she said, it's not that they're afraid of Kamala Harris, the first black president. They are terrified of a black female president because this country already took long enough to get to a first black male president. They don't want to see a trend of black empowerment in this country. This country was built off of black people. This country was built off of genocide. This country was built off of um, theft, right? All these things. So how dare you get to a space when we're only a couple hundred years old, quote unquote, a couple hundred years old? How dare we let the bottom of the barrel become the top of this social constitutional experiment,
Exactly.
aka America?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what they're scared of. This is why you
Yeah.
have this. They said we can't allow this to happen. I just right there in Project 2025. We cannot allow this to happen. We have to do whatever it needs to take. This is our last chance of taking back this country. This is our last chance. They said it, black and white. So that's why I'm just like, oh, okay, I see you. Y'all trying to Malcolm X it by any means necessary.
Okay.
I feel you. I got you now. I see what you're doing.
Look at the hypocrisy, though.
I know.
No,
Absolutely.
I mean, with Pence, they had nooses out there for Pence, Vice President Pence.
Yeah.
You had nooses and you threatened to unalive President Obama.
Yeah.
So now everybody that was doing all that, let's hang them, hang Pelosi, hang Pence, hang Obama. Now all of a sudden, Trump get 2 shots of glass to his cheeks, and oh my God, how could this country? Now, what you literally campaign on violence, Trump?
Nothing but that. I have a video of there's like a little dummy, you know how you do the little kickboxing thing where they have a mask of Joe Biden's head on there, and it says let's go Brandon, I think on the shirt, and they're kicking it and punching it. You would, this is what you do. And then when it comes back to you, I mean, well, for your people, because you're trying to push out a narrative that you see the left, they're trying to attack us. They're trying to take me out because he said earlier they want to take me out.
Yeah.
He said that.
Yeah.
So why not sit around? Because you already, sit around. If I lose in 2020, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it seem like they stole the election. The dude that just went to jail with the ugly face and ugly head, I can't remember his name. He said it. I think I have video of him saying that Trump said before the election, if he loses, this is what he's going to do and say. Because he already knew that he had people behind him.
That dog was
January 6th. The committee, you had people lining up, Proud Boys and the other group,
Patriot Front.
All these people, they literally said that, we were told, because Trump sat down with some Proud Boys. This is what we're going to do. They all know around him that we're going to push out this lie that the election was stolen. When he knew it wasn't stolen.
Well, that was the lie.
That lie out.
That was the lie that came across me yesterday. When like I said, I had a couple spats in the chat of another CC, and they was like, well, one of the moderators was like, well, I said, well, what do you think about Project 2025? It was like, oh, that's made up, and Trump already said that he did. I said that he wasn't associated. I'm like, but the people who came up with the entire manifesto literally worked for him. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Well, they said that's not true. That's not true.
That's not. Yeah, they were like, well, prove it. Prove it. What do you mean? Go back and look at his cabinet. Go back and look at everybody he hired, who he had as advisors, this, that, and the other, and look at the connection. And then they turned to, oh, well, how, and then she basically said, well, I don't understand how a homosexual can care about what's going on in Palestine. So now you took it personal to me. Oh, okay, bitch.
But they always deflect, don't they?
That's what they do. Mm-hmm.
That's all. They always deflect, just like they're deflecting now and trying to blame Joe Biden for saying bullseye. When Trump, as if Trump never says anything negative. Oh, he doesn't. He's just joking when he says the stuff that he says.
Right.
Oh, God, no. He would never. He's a godly man. Are y'all
okay?
I mean, sometimes I'm just like, are y'all? You cannot be. I mean, you really cannot be drinking the Kool-Aid like this. It's ridiculous. Like, I mean, it's like the little the Pied Piper. He got y'all so wrapped up and confused about if you're
cognitive dissonance.
That's all right. You don't even know where you are.
Cognitive dissonance, for sure. For sure.
It's crazy to sit here, and so now the agenda now is to push the DEI. Oh, Kamala Harris, she's not educated enough to be. She humped her way up to where she is now, and she was a freak. Oh, I read something today from someone. I just went off on them. And it irritates me so much that I literally have to log off. Okay, I gotta log off. I need to go shopping or something. I need some retail therapy because, baby, don't look at me. And Trust me. I get
They
out
won't
there.
say it about Brother Obama though, because he was the standard. He was the most
Right,
qualified president.
right.
Okay,
And
and that's
that's
what they
what
can't.
scares them. That's why they want to get
Mhm.
rid of education.
Yeah,
So you
that
will never
black
have another
knowledge.
Obama again.
Yeah, how dare these people that we beat for attempting to learn to read during
Right,
slavery? How dare they become so educated that they can make it to the office of presidency?
right.
How dare they?
So
And that's what it's about, that fear. That's why Florida and Louisiana and a lot Mississippi, that's why they doing away the CRT and
even in Tennessee,
mhm. Yep, Tennessee especially.
Tennessee and
But
Oklahoma
mhm.
too.
But thank you for having me up here. From
Yes,
my
ma'am.
perspective, you know,
Absolutely. I'm glad you
hopefully I
came
didn't
up.
come in too hot this time.
No, you come in hot, girl. Come in strong. Come in hot.
Yes, thank you and W1 for having me up here. I'm gonna drop
Absolutely.
down.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
God bless you both. And yes, keep up with the fight. And more people, even if it's just one, don't get discouraged, Sonny. And W1, you doing the doggone thing. Okay?
Thank you. I will never get discouraged. This is to
That's
be
right.
honest with you, this is why I came back, because it's election time. People
Yep.
were messaging me and saying, please come up. It's election time. We need you. We need you. I said, well, okay, I'm gonna come up, do what I need to do, say what I need to say. My mom was like, please don't show your face. Please don't say anything crazy, because she's into conspiracy theories and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
Too
I
late.
like
My
I
mama
said,
say my phone is every time the phone go out or a drop call. See, they got us tapped. You
uh-huh.
don't say that orange man name no more. Don't do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you. God bless you
Thank
both.
you, Stacy.
I will talk to y'all later.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So W1, um, are you still here?
I am.
Okay. So your last thoughts, your closing thoughts. We can't hear you. Okay, so these are my closing thoughts since we cannot hear W1. My closing thoughts is this. No matter what happens, um, just know that we are strong individuals. We have made it through the best of times and the worst of times. Whether you're in your 70s, your 50s, your 30s, or your 20s, we are here to stay and we're not going anywhere. As far as Project 2025, if Trump gets elected, okay, we are a strong group of people. We can get through anything because we've already been through everything. Okay. Um, as far as the what happened yesterday to Mr. Trump, look, I'm glad that we had Stacey up here to tell us, her opinion on what happened. She comes with facts because she's experienced it. She was in the military. She served in the Marines for 20 years, and she has seen things that we could never imagine seeing. So I respect her opinion and her statements because, like I said, she has seen it all, way more than we would ever see. Um, my opinion is this: I think it's staged, and I don't think it's real. I think they're playing in our faces. Trump, okay, you pulled a fast one, and now you're trying to blame. Well, not him, but his people are blaming Joe Biden. But don't get discouraged by that. Remember Project 2025, and when it's time to go to the voting booth, vote blue, because don't let these people play in your face and play games. We're not having it. We have 100 days, 100 days plus before election time. And I will be here every Sunday talking about Project 2025. Until you dream about Project 2025, you wake up thinking about Project 2025. Spread the word. I am actually a volunteer, so I'm trying to get onto the phone bank and make phone calls all over the United States, getting people out here to vote blue. Okay, so if you need to join some type of campaign, volunteer for the campaign to push out the agenda of people getting out here voting for Joe Biden. Like we said before, we don't care if this man is crawling, slobbering, slumped over. We're voting for Joe Biden. We don't want Project 2025. This whole thing that happened yesterday with Mr. Trump is not going to stop me from talking about Project 2025. Okay? So I love you all. I hope y'all hit that like button when you come in. When you came in, you hit the like button. When you leave, hit the like button if you hadn't already. And I appreciate you all coming here tonight and joining me. W1 fell off. But I'm sure, you know, thanks everybody for being here as well. So thank you, the spiritual gangster. And Stacy, I thank you all for being here. Would you say 3 meals and a straw? Okay, equals my vote. I know that's right. And I love you all for coming and supporting this channel. Spread the word, spread Project 2025. Just give them the link. It's there to be read. It's there to be seen. These people are not playing. They're not playing. They are playing chess while we are playing checkers. Okay. My likes don't show. That's okay. Maybe they will later. Thank you, Norris. So I want to thank Mel NYC for coming up earlier and keeping me company while I go through, try to find what I was looking for. W1 for coming up. I thank Stacy for being here. Keyshawn, I appreciate you all. And everyone else that came through. Taurus was here. Thank you for listening. Taurus, if you're still listening. Natasha, thank you. Just simply thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. I love you guys. Y'all take care. I'll see y'all next Sunday. And if something pop up, you know me, I'm going to pop up too. Okay? Y'all have a nice night. God bless. Peace out.